Hi, welcome to the bathtub. This is the old master bather, formerly the old Christmas master bather, but now, through the miracle of the new year and the holiday season, I am now just the old master bather. There's Dodo the winter parakeet. She's being a bit of a difficulty today. We are. This is our first Christmas show, our first New Year's show since 2024, and it's just same old crap. It's just the same old useless stuff. Really. I'm going to put this back on my head. Dodo, I wanted to show people something here because we had a wonderful Christmas. This is the post-Christmas wrap-up edition of the bathtub where we're going to kind of see how things went with it. Okay, Dodo, I'm putting you away because I'm going to have to strangle you in about 2 seconds. Are you ready? Okay, you got to calm down a little bit. She's really bad today. I don't know what it is. She's very excited about seeing everybody again. I'm trying to show off my Christmas present. So the first thing we were trying to do, Dodo, here, why don't you come over here? We're trying to show off our cool, one of our greatest presents we've ever gotten at Christmas, which is our friends Bruce and Lynn Ferber sent us this cool T-shirt. As you see, it says International Bathing Alliance. This is the B.K. Smith brilliant painting that came in my mail several years ago by this talented cartoonist and artist. And I just love this thing. We have the original on the wall, but good old Bruce and Lynn Ferber got me this as a T-shirt. And there I am with the bubbles, and there I am masturbating, and there's all sorts of stuff on the floor. And on the back of the shirt, hold on, I don't really think you can see it. They have something cool. It says, I forget what it says. It says, you'll have to read it to me. Something about read unwisely and survive happily. Those are three sentence fragments that I think appear in our YouTube description or our Facebook page. I'm sorry, this is 2024. We're just going to let it go to hell, just so you don't expect anything more from this really ridiculous show. Dodo is so bad today. All right, I'm going to put the thing back up here. Okay. All right. And this is what I was trying to show you, everybody, is that one of the things we forgot to tell you all is that, of course, we have this wonderful opportunity for you to get a totally free present to give to people. Now, Christmas is over, but, for example, perhaps somebody sent you a present who you didn't expect a present from, and you feel like, oh, I got to send them a present now. You can send them this. It's free. It doesn't cost you a nickel. And you could even figure out some way to make them print it so you don't have to pay for the printing ink for it. It's basically a certificate of international bathing. We started offering this a few years ago, and they haven't been going like hotcakes. They've been going like maybe 4 or 5 hotcakes. Every once in a while, someone says, well, I'll take one of those things if it's free. And you can get one of these. All you have to do is agree to be a part of the International Bathing Alliance, which means you give me your name and a location, and I put you on a Google map, and then I send you this by email. It's basically a certificate, and I fill in your name here, and I don't even print it because I'm too cheap to even print it or pay for a stamp. I just send it to you by email, and this permits you to bathe and read unwisely in any bathtub in the known universe. Anywhere in the known universe, you can read anything you want for whatever reason you want. You don't have to listen to any idiots tell you whether you should like it or not, or whether you're appreciating the paradigms or the cultural significance of the book. You don't have to do any of that crap because you'll have this certificate allowing you to just do whatever the hell you feel like in the bathtub. So anyway, we'll get this to you. You can get 2 of them for the price of 1, and the price of 1 is 0. So you get 0, get nothing. For example, I've gotten a bathing buddy. I got a bathing buddy one of these many years ago. I got Boris Johnson. I made him a bathing buddy. I put him on the map. He doesn't even probably know about it. He's kind of an idiot. He's a complete idiot. He probably doesn't even. I don't know if the guy can even read. But anyway, he's got this certificate wherever he wants it. I'll send it to him by an email or just never tell him. And you could do that. You can send grandma one. You can send anyone with friends. So there's lots of people you might want to give this free certificate to. Oh, I scared her. Too bad, Dodo. And tell Tweety I'm coming for her. Tell Tweety I'm coming for her this year. And her damn lawyers. Anyway, there it is. It's all yours. It's free. I was just thinking this, like, you might want to get it for a loved one, but probably for a loved one you don't really love that too much. Like, I don't know, maybe you have a partner and the relationship's not going well, and you don't want to spend any more money on them at Christmas. this is free. You said just give that to them. Might even be a signal that things are almost over because it's so cheap, and you're so cheap just giving them this free certificate that they probably have to print themselves. Anyway, I'm very proud of my new T-shirt. We're going to do a report, a post-Christmas report, and that means basically I'm going to talk about some of my ambitions, quote-unquote ambitions for Christmas was to read stuff just for fun and not give a goddamn. And I try to do that every day anyway, but at Christmas I try to do especially. I had a pretty good Christmas. My wife and I had a lovely time. Dodo got lots of cool presents. Lucky's got some cool presents. And I got all sorts of things besides this cool T-shirt. Anyway, I continue reading Godwin's and the Shelleys. I've talked a little about in the past. William St. Clair, biography. Really, I just love reading about these kind of old radical philosophers. And William Godwin was the kind of godfather of anarchism in Britain, England. And his wife, Mary Wollstonecraft, who died very young and very tragically. It's a terrible, sad story. Died in childbirth and gave birth to Mary Wollstonecraft, who became Mary Shelley. She married Percy Bysshe Shelley. Anyway, it's a fascinating book about the kind of revolutionary politics in England that was coming out of a lot of the romantic poetry. And I'm really enjoying it. I haven't finished it yet, but that was one of the books I've been reading off and on. I mentioned this. I finally finished the beginning, the core volumes of the Elric series by Michael Moorcock. We're big fans of Michael Moorcock here ever since I was a kid. I'd never read the Elric books all the way through. In fact, I got a little bored by them usually every time I tried to read them. I enjoyed them off and on. They're mainly lots of novelettes that are kind of sewn together. And then Stormbringer's a novel, and they're pretty dark. They're dark because basically Elric goes around killing everybody he loves, and the Stormbringer, he battles all the total evil gods, and he wins anyway and then he kills himself or something. I forget. I don't want to tell you the ending, but anyway, no one ever dies in these books because they always come back for a later volume. I enjoyed it. I was kind of glad to get it over with. I really like a lot of Moorcock, much more than I like that one. We're not giving up our unpixelated post-tech edition. No tech. 2024 is the year of no tech. Let's drink to that. Pure mountain water comes straight out of the refrigerator filter. So it must be from the mountains because it tastes very, very pure. I said I was going to read, I forget what I said I was going to read, but I didn't say I was going to read Ruth Rendell. And I really find her really fun to read at Christmas. Good mystery novels. I remember we did some Agatha Christie last year. Ruth Rendell is an interesting British crime writer. Started out in the 60s. This is the first of her, what's his name? Inspector Wexford mysteries. I have not read a lot of Ruth Rendell, but I've read about a half dozen, once every few years or so. And usually when I get into them, they're pretty interesting. And this one's called From Dune with Death. It's the first in the Inspector Wexford series, supposedly. It comes from the late 60s. And Wexford, I can't really describe him. He's not like most of these detectives who have some sort of signature, like they're single moms or they're cocaine addicts or they're in AA or something. He's just a local inspector who kind of likes to find out what's going on. And the only thing I could say is there's a sort of I don't know what you'd call it. There is a sort of possibility of sort of lesbian, homosexual relationships in the middle of these books, which, because they're in the 60s and 70s, are sometimes considered surprising, or maybe more not even necessarily lesbian, but kind of erotic obsessions that people have for each other, particularly women. Anyway, Rendell writes really well. She's fun to read. I read this it was really great to read on a Christmas holiday afternoon. My wife worked several days during the holidays, and this was read it in 3 or 4 hours. A lot of fun. I said I was going to read some Simenons. I'm doing these outside of our normal Simenon series. I read the 2 next ones in the series. We were getting right near the end. Maigret and the Wine Merchant and Maigret's Mad Woman. And as I've said, I think the late books from the 50s and 60s all the way up to the late 60s when he finishes this series are the best in the whole group. The Maigret and the Wine Merchant is about he's a guy who made a lot of money as a wine merchant, and he's kind of a big, bulky, kind of unattractive guy who sleeps with every woman he can get his hands on, and he has this kind of this house of ill repute where he takes the women every week. And it's about, again, it's not always about the murder. It's about this guy, learning about this guy's character and the relationships he's involved in, and then finding out who is the murderer is kind of his second nature to, is the second, the second interest of Maigret. And he goes off looking for them, and he meets all the women involved in this guy's life. It's a terrific read. I really enjoyed it a lot. And I really enjoy, just finished this today. My holiday reading's over. Maigret's Mad Woman. I've read both of these at least once or twice in the past. Maigret's Mad Woman is about an old woman who comes up to Maigret saying that people have gone in her house moving things around. And he thinks she's crazy. And of course she's not. And shortly afterwards she gets murdered. And Maigret goes look and find. Again, he goes into her history and what her life was like and her family and the relationships between her and her family before she died. Really terrific. Two really, really fun books. Couldn't put them down. And finally, I read Uncle Scrooge, Cave of Ali Baba. I promised you I was going to read this one for Christmas. And one of these usually comes out every year in November or so. And I try to order it every year. It's the great Carl Barks. If you're interested in my thoughts on Carl Barks, I did an art essay on him in the Los Angeles Review of Books, which is free. Or you can get it in my book, Reading Great Books in the Bathtub. There's a book. It's a crossover book from this pointless series. And I've got an essay in there about my history with reading Uncle Scrooge since I was a kid. Anyway, the great Carl Barks. There are always these international adventures from him and this Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Donald. As we get along, we're getting into the later issues. They're still fun, but the really brilliant ones tend to be some from the earlier issues. Anyway, I had a perfect Christmas. We're going to do one more of these. We hope you all have a great 2024. We're aspiring. We have some really important New Year's resolutions. We're not. Oh, I know what they are. They're this. We're gonna read unwisely. Can you see that? We're gonna read unwisely, and we're gonna do it happily and safely. And that's all we're gonna do. And all the rest of the stuff, all the crappy stuff we do with our jobs and worrying about the world, we'll do after we've had a nice little soak. And of course, free. Certificate of Bathing Excellence. It's yours for nothing. It's worth nothing. You get it for nothing. I send it to you as an email. All you have to do is write me and say, Master Bather, I want to be able to read books for no reason whatsoever. And I don't care if I'm being culturally attuned or culturally sensitive or not. I just want to read and have a good time for an hour in the bathtub. You get this. And you give me your name and give me your location, and we put you on this map. Stay safe. Happy bathing. Thanks again for my lovely t-shirt. Bye. It doesn't make me look any better. That's the only problem with the t-shirt is I actually don't look any thinner.